Hi, I'm Soren Kjeldsen. I play on European Tour, and these are my specs. The wedges I use is the 588. I suppose you'd say the vintage finish is the one that rust. I've been using these wedges my whole life, and I've got the three wedges here. I've got the 51 degree, the 54, and the 60 degree, which means that overall in my set I've got 4 wedges. Wedge game is very important for me because I'm not one of the longer hitters. It's important for me that my wedge distances are very sharp, so therefore 4 wedges. But these wedges are, they're great. They've got fantastic design, and what I like about these wedges is that I think a lot of players they want maximum amount of spin, and for me it's not always been the case. I'd like a lot of control. I want spin, but I've had wedges in the past that I felt was spinning too much. So the 588 has always been that right middle one for me, where I feel I've got grip, but it's not like I rip the ball up and the ball spins back a lot on the green. I always think if you look at the best wedge players in the world, you don't see them spinning the ball a lot back on the green. You see the Steve Strickers and these guys, it'll take one kick and then it'll check and it'll lie dead. But you don't want it spinning a whole lot of back, and I think a lot of amateurs, they want as much backspin as possible, and I'm not looking for that. I want control. I want the ball to sit down and do nothing, and 588s are perfect for that. If we have to talk about the sole design and the specification on the wedges I use, I think a lot of people would be surprised that the stuff that I use is the stuff that people can buy. There's nothing done to my wedges that's out of the ordinary. So, and I think, sometimes there's this mystique about wedges that you hear and some players do have a lot of work done to their wedges, but I'm not one of them. I think I'm one of the better wedge players, but anybody can buy the club that I use. I only practice my wedges when I've got my TrackMan there. So basically what I'll do, I'll play little games, I'll pick numbers, and I have to hit that number exactly within 3 feet. And I won't change number till I've hit that shot on the exact distance. I'll do their combined test, which is very good because it gets you out of technique and it gets you into hitting that number like you do when you're on the golf course. I think it's very important, and it gets you into that mode that I think any tournament professional and basically every golfer, I think, enjoys more than anything, is that competitive thing, And I think for me it's always been so much more fun doing that instead of being into technique, because I love being on the range, and I need to hit it 92 meters, and I'll hit it. I'll hit that shot and it'll feel great in the air, and that little voice in the computer is going to say 92, and I'm with the biggest smile there on the range. For me, that's great practice. It's fun, and it gives you instant feedback, and that's what I need to improve. No question, because I think when you go up to, if you're hitting 4 or 5 irons, it's quite a challenge to hit good shot after good shot after good shot, because there's a difficulty to hitting a 4 iron and a 5 iron or whatever. But when you get to a certain stage, and certainly when you play on tour, it's not difficult to hit a good wedge shot, but it's difficult to say whether you're going to hit it 102 or you're going to hit it 98, and that's the difference. And therefore you need something that can measure that for you to get anywhere with your wedge game. Being on the range, you need to be able to hit a good 4 iron, but you don't necessarily need a TrackMan there, because there's a big difference between a good and a bad 4 iron. But the difference between a good and a bad wedge is if you hit the number or you don't. Because I'm not hitting wedges out of offline, but I hit 4 irons offline. So therefore you need something that can get that sharpness into your wedge game, and TrackMan has helped me do that. Yeah, my putter is the Odyssey Rossi 2. I've used this model since 1996, and this is the second putter since 1996. I had one from 1996 to 2002. That was in a tragic accident during a tournament in Sweden, and then this one has been ever since Sweden. So this one is done just over 10 years, and you know, it's a great club. I feel confident over it. I make a lot of putts with it. I miss a lot of putts with it, but I don't miss it because of this thing. So it's one of these things. It's an old friend, and it's not going anywhere. It will stay right here. My golf ball comes in this little package here. So you can see this is a little different. You can't buy this in shops. So if I told you what it was, I'd probably have to kill you. Anyway, this is the Strixon Diamond ball. I've been using it for quite a few years, and it's just a great ball. Strixon do a lot of great golf balls, and I've tested a lot of them, and I mean the variety is amazing. But so far I stick to this diamond ball, and you know, it does what I want it to do, and that's my choice.